Coach, how did you process the news that the team was moving on?
Nothing that I had scripted in my mind at any point, any imagination. I got a call from Kenny and Sean at separate times this morning. So it's been a little bit of a whirlwind of preparing for a game tomorrow, talking to the players, talking to staff. But it's a part of who we are right now, and we'll continue to move forward.
What was your first priority communication-wise with the group as the dust settled?
So overall, we met as a group, and Sean addressed the group, and I had a chance to quickly address the group, and then my point was to meet with each individual, spend time with them, hear their thoughts, and basically listen. And I've been able to do that throughout the course of this morning.
What was the message, I guess, that you got from them? And I know there's individual guys, so they might have had different messages.
Yeah.
What was the basic message that you got from listening to them?
I think overall that it's a great challenge ahead of us. We have 20 games to make some noise and get the most out of this team and out of this year. Guys seem excited about that challenge, and also seemed excited about just being open and honest and transparent with communication and relationships.
Coach, do you foresee any, I guess, new additions to the offense? Are you going to instill anything different that maybe Kenny didn't implement, or did you see anywhere from your spot on the bench that you thought that maybe could have been improved, that you might try to improve over the last stretch of the season?
Yeah, it's tough right now to do, especially we got an early game tomorrow.
Sure.
Didn't get a chance to be on the floor today. Hopefully going forward, next week or two, we'll get an opportunity to tinker with some things, not change a bunch. Did get some feedback from some guys of some things that we can do differently. I'll get on the whiteboard with those guys and talk through it as well, and see if we can improve our offense.
JV, you're known as a player-first coach. Throughout this kind of wild season, you've been there when there have been external distractions, an ESPN story, China with a Dennis Scott sign, or I'm sure you're there for guys through the Kobe tragedy. Internally, has there been distractions or deliberations? How have you been there for the guys as kind of a stabilizing force?
Hopefully, when you talk to the guys, I've remained constant. That's pretty much my personality. Showing up every single day, listening to guys. I was raised that way. I believe this is a service business. I'm serving these guys, and it's about them, and that was part of the message this morning. I'm just a vessel right now, and I'll continue to serve those guys and hopefully get the most out of them.
You know this system, and then there's two guys who are almost bigger than any system. On any team, they could come in and have their own culture. How do you see that kind of player development system meshing with player empowerment from superstars coming in overnight?
I think it's today's game, and being able to adjust to that, getting the most out of the talent that's on your roster, but also listening and hearing the voices of the number 1, 2, 3, 4 guys on your roster. I think is crucial, and having that relationship is a must in today's game.
Jacque, Sean said that he and Kenny agreed that Kenny's voice no longer had the same weight, and you mentioned that some guys say there are things they think you can do differently. Did you sense any more pushback from the players, particularly new veterans, than you had experienced with Kenny over the previous 3 years?
I don't want to speak for those guys. What I will say is I initiated the offer of what can we do differently. I'm not sure if that was expressed to Kenny from other guys. Kenny did an unbelievable job while he was here. My relationship with Kenny won't change. I was by his side from very beginning and was part of this journey up until now. I don't want to speak for those guys, but what I will say is that in today's game, you have to be able to continually reinforce your philosophy and continue to communicate with guys.
And Kenny can be hard-headed. He has been in the past. His brothers will tell you that. Did you were there clashes at times? You know, between him, you know, insisting on doing it his way, even though I know he did seek ideas.
I think the one thing that Sean's been big about since day one is collaborative effort, and that's across the coaching staff, across the performance staff, and that's having ideals that at the end of the day is collaborative. I talked to the guys today about radical truth and radical transparency, and we need that. I believe they want it, and I'm in a position to be a part of it.
Was that something that you learned more so from your first tenure? I mean, you've been in Kenny's shoes before.
Yeah.
Was that something that you learned from Orlando, or is that something that you've learned since, or did you figure that out by how Orlando ended? I'm just curious how you came to that.
Yeah, it's been a part of my journey. I think I was a pretty young head coach, 37. I was younger than Brad at that time, and I'm closer to 50 than I am 37. So I've learned a lot through these course of years. And like I said, that was part of my journey, and I'm glad to be here now.
Jacque, how would you describe your relationship with Kai, who's obviously been kind of in and out in terms of presence and just frustration, which is obvious, but you guys always seem to be close in warm-ups. What's your guys' vibe like?
Talked to him today, great conversation. You know, we had the immediate connection of being point guards, and I was assigned to working him before the games, practice days, and so being able to form a relationship, which I try to with each guy, but I guess we were able to talk in point guard language at times, which is beneficial.
Do you think that played a factor in you being selected to replace Kenny? Your relationships with Kyrie and Kevin?
I won't speak to that part of it. What I will say is I've always tried to put myself in a position that any player can come to me as an assistant coach. And whether that was talking about on the court stuff or off the court stuff. Guys need that. I think it's a skill to be someone who can listen. That's a tough skill, and truly listen. And I've tried to do that in my career.
Jacque, Sean said that this wasn't like an abrupt decision. It was kind of like a conversation that him and Kenny had been having for the past couple months. Did you get any sense that things were kind of leaning this way over the past few months, that maybe Kenny wasn't going to be holding on to his job at this point?
I did not. I was just as surprised when Kenny called me this morning than ever before. So this was completely caught me off guard. No practice or shoot around or game routine had changed to initiate any kind of feelings that those talks were going on behind the assistant coaches' backs.
Did Sean give you any sense that you will be a contender for the full-time job going forward? Do you look at this as an audition?
I think I'm very realistic about it. I've challenged the guys to make the most of this 20 games, and hopefully it's more than that. And what's going to happen is going to happen. I'm going to give you all I got, and I'll definitely do that.
You've been through the highs and lows with the team the last couple of years. In what ways did the lows this season feel any more different or more disappointing than a season ago?
The response of the lows. You know, we always talked about being resilient as a group. There was, a few instances this year where we put ourselves against the wall, and resilience became a tough word for us to say. And that challenge is what I talked to the group about also, is it's easier to teach a skill than it is a mentality. And the mentality that we have to have, you saw the way we played last night. That mentality from the beginning of the game is what we're going to need for this final stretch.
Any concern that today's events might carry over into tomorrow's game, and that it might not go the way that you hope tomorrow's game goes?
This is new for some guys, that haven't been a part of the league for a long time. I'm not sure how they're going to respond. My message to them was at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., call me. If you need to talk about it, I'm available.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Chuck.
All right, guys. Okay, appreciate you.
JV, I just want to say we haven't